Are you ready to alter your life? Because that's what's about to happen. If you're looking for a judgment-free zone where TMI doesn't exist, to have the conversations you're not supposed to have, and explore how to make small yet substantial, sustainable changes in your life to actually care for and empower yourself through physical and emotional fitness, then you're in the right place. I'm your host, Alyssa Alter, MOMDON, the Amy Poehler of vaginas, author, speaker, coach, former Broadway performer, certified Pilates instructor, pelvic health expert, comedian, co-founder of postpartum.com, mom on the mend, and board certified doctor of nothing. I believe that if we put as much time, energy, and discipline on our insides as we do our outsides, we'll be unstoppable.
Welcome back. I am so excited to meet you here for part 4 of our pelvic floor series. As I said at the end of last week's episode, this is my Super Bowl. This is my Tony Award-winning Broadway show. This is the drop of like a new Lizzo or Meghan Trainor album. Like this is, am I excited to be here. This episode, we are talking about the intersection of physical and emotional fitness. Now, before I dive in, holy smokes. I mean, I experience this day in and day out. Now, I am someone who has IBS. I've had IBS my entire life. I more recently was treated for SIBO, small intestine bacterial overgrowth, which let me tell you is awful. And I didn't like having it. It took a long time and a lot of self-advocacy to get the medication that I needed. That is the one medication that treats the type of hydrogen-dominant SIBO that I had, to get it approved by my insurance. They did not want to approve it, even though everything is like, this is the treatment. Other things do not work. This is how you treat it. But it's expensive. So I had to do other things first and prove it, and call my doctor's office like every other day to make sure they sent the stuff to the insurance company, calling the insurance company every day, following up. What do I need to do? I just want to feel better. And then I got the medication. I was treated. I still have IBS and I manage it. I do have food triggers that manage this. Like I cannot eat onions or garlic. I don't even miss them at this point because they make me so physically ill that I don't want to eat them because they're so associated with that now. And my biggest trigger is stress and anxiety. So I will have, I'll just say poopy problems. I mean diarrhea. I'm not going to use a euphemism for it. I will have like an IBS attack, and always my first thought is, what did I eat? And sometimes it is that, but more often it's like, whoa, Liz, what's going on? What is going on in your life that you are now debilitated, that you have been trying to ignore and fight and not deal with so hard that your body is like shutting down to get you to slow down to deal with what's happening, because that is what's going to make you feel better. Our bodies are amazing. Amazing. The way that the physical and emotional components of everything, the mind and the body, are so... How are we even discussing this anymore? Of course they're connected. There is no divide. And it's time for us to own the living daylights out of this. You are incredible, and so is your body, and so is everything else about you. You are beautiful in every single way. The world can't keep us down. Oh. Thank you, Christina. She is right. Now, you maybe have noticed that I tend to make a lot of jokes when talking about intimate, heavy, or taboo topics. And one of the reasons is because that's how I handle hard things, and also because hard things are hard enough. I don't need to add to that weight. I don't need to do that for you. I don't need to do that for myself. And I find that bringing some curiosity, a sense of exploration, and levity to the matter does not negate the depth of our work. It gives us a little breathing room. See what I did there? I can't stop talking about breathing because it's so important. As my ballet teacher always says, breathe or you will die. The levity, the jokes, they don't negate our experience or the depth of it. They give us some breathing room to meet ourselves where we are and move through the experience. And I did tear my beehole giving birth to my son. And while it is supportive for me to do Kegels, which if you listen to last week's episode, which I am sending you the most enthusiastic invitation to go listen to it if you haven't. For me to do Kegels, which focus on the pee hole, which they are an important team member, I'm grateful that after I gave birth and after my injury and while I was rehabilitating, that I knew how to isolate, focus, engage, release, and rehabilitate my beehole. Because only focusing on my pee hole isn't going to address my beehole. It's going to support it, but that's not where the issue is, and vice versa, right? I want you to be empowered with this depth of knowledge, this fluency in your body, the way that I was. My doctors, my surgeon, my physical therapist, the urogynecologist I saw for a follow-up to, who was on this show, Dr. Allison Polland, who I visited at the very, very beginning of this second pregnancy because of my fears, for reassurance that I'm going to be okay even carrying a pregnancy. I understand what kind of feat that will be for my pelvic floor. All of the medical professionals that I have seen have said that my recovery was as smooth, uncomplicated, and complete as it is because of how well I knew how to work with my body, how to work with my pelvic floor, how to optimally strengthen, which isn't just engage. Healthy muscles need to engage and release. And because I knew this, that is how I was able to make this recovery. I want that for you also. I do not want you to tear your butthole, but I want that level of fluency and confidence and continence and centering and safety. I want you to feel that in your body always. Because the way things work currently in our healthcare system and in our social structures, we are so often misguided and underinformed about our own freaking bodies. And we deserve better. We are told to strengthen our pelvic floor no matter what concern it is we are having. We should do Kegels. Painful sex? Kegels. Urinary incontinence? Kegels. Fecal incontinence, which can be poop or farts. Kegels. Kegels are the standard answer when more often than not, we need to release tension, articulate muscles, and find movement. We need to unstick what is too stuck and what is too tight and rigid. We need to find release and feel safe, relaxing into our bodies, into ourselves. We need this physically, mentally, and emotionally. I want you to use your breath in your daily life. You're breathing all day, every day. I want you to use your breath in your daily life, your daily movements, and your daily practice to support you finding release and safety and centering in your body. We've discussed how this works on a physical level to engage and stretch your pelvic floor muscles. This also provides benefits on an emotional and psychological level. And this is part of the reason that meditation and yoga have so many mental health and emotional benefits, because the way you breathe reflects and informs the state of your nervous system, which dictates how you are experiencing your body and your environment and the world around you. When you are calm, cool, and collected, when you are resting and digesting, when your autonomic nervous system, which regulates the vital and involuntary systems in your body, is in a parasympathetic state, your heart rate is slow and steady. Your breathing is deep, your muscles are relaxed, and everything works the way it was intended. When you experience stress and or trauma, when your brain and body get the very real message that you are unsafe, your autonomic nervous system fires up the fight or flight response. Your sympathetic nervous system is upregulated, and the chain of command sends out more cortisol and adrenaline. Then your heart rate increases, your breath quickens, your pupils dilate, your muscles tense like a loaded spring ready for action. You are now ready to outrun the real or perceived saber-toothed tiger that your body thinks is trying to eat you. The sphincteric response of the pelvic floor, which I mentioned earlier in an earlier part of this 4-part series, closes all sphincters because you do not want to leave a trail and you don't have time to do your business when your life is on the line. Because your brain is a toddler in this mode. You are safe or unsafe. So how do you regulate your nervous system out of chronic or acute stress? The same way you regulate a toddler during a tantrum. The same way you release your hip flexors, not by telling them to stop freaking out. That never works. Instead, you employ opposing systems and guide yourself back to homeostasis. The parasympathetic nervous system. Rest and digest mode. This is the mode humans, that's us, are meant to spend more time in, where the parasympathetic nervous system is directing the show, allowing you time to rest and digest. Unfortunately, our modern life isn't as attuned to this way of being, which is why you need tools and practices you can use and implement and integrate anywhere and anytime to support your well-being. And I say it a lot, and I'm not going to stop. Yes, that kind of rhymes. I didn't mean to make that happen, but fine. Breathing is the most direct, accessible, impactful tool you can use to regulate your nervous system and find that calm, rest and digest state of being. Breathing deeply reverse engineers your brain because it's a two-way street. Listen, if you right now tense your muscles, make your breath really shallow and fast, and squeeze your undercarriage, squeeze your butt, your brain is going to interpret this as, oh, I'm stressed out. My life is in danger. I better freak out. And conversely, if you lengthen and deepen your breath, release your pelvic floor, unclench your butt, and relax your muscles, your brain understands the message. I am so safe. How else could I be for my breath to be so full and delicious? My pelvic floor is so buoyant and balanced, and my butt is so unclenched, and my digestion has never been better. Maybe I'll go take a poop and then take a glorious nap. You can use your breath patterns to shift your mindset, your state of mind, and every system in your body. So, okay, stay with me because it's time to get a little bit woo, right? We're exploring the physical and emotional intersection of our pelvic floor. You had to know we were going to get a little bit woo. Okay, so let's get a little bit woo-woo. Do you remember that cheer? It's usually aggressive, but I made it woo. Okay, fun. What am I talking about when I say woo? I'm talking about the magical, mystical, spiritual, and energetic side of this work. I'm someone who deeply, deeply values data, science, and modern medicine. And I am someone who's experienced things that I know to be true that transcend the clinical vocabulary we use. That's the woo. What we know and feel to be true, even when we lack the words or to prove it, right? If we look at the chakra system, something that is well studied, the first and second chakras are located within the pelvis. Some people say the pelvic bowl. And those are the two chakras that we work with when we do work on our pelvic floors. Last week, when you explored that diamond breathing, you were already working with your first two chakras. I know, you didn't even know. And I'm not trying to trick you. This isn't about tricking you. I don't do that. it happens as a side effect of the breathing, the engaging, and releasing that we've done to explore the health and function of our pelvic floor muscles. Chakras are energetic centers that align through the center of your body from your vagina through the top of your head, all the way up to the top of your head. The first chakra is the root chakra. If you've taken yoga, you may hear this called Mula Bandha, and it is located at different places say different things. Some people say the tip of the tailbone. Some people say the perineum, which is the space between the vaginal opening and the anal sphincter. I like to say it's your vaginal opening, right? Great. The second chakra is the sacral chakra. In yoga, you may have heard this called Uddiyana Bandha. This is located at the center of your pelvis in front of your sacrum, hence the name sacral chakra. The uterus is also right in front of your sacrum. I'm just saying. And these two chakras, the root chakra and the sacral chakra, Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha, these two chakras relate to your sense of safety, security, sexuality, creativity, foundation, grounding, and overall centering. Remember at the beginning of this series when I said that I would say things you already know? This is one of those things. Because when you feel unsafe, insecure, unmoored physically, emotionally, and energetically, you clench your butt. You get constipated and or diarrhea. Depends on your your constitution, right? Your body freaks out and you don't know why. Except when you stop and think about it, you do know. When you experience trauma, your body interprets that as your foundation crumbling. And since your physical and emotional bodies are directly linked via your breath and the nervous system, or something I call, which we will talk about in future episodes, the brain-vagina connection. Energetic tension manifests as physical tension and vice versa. So when you are emotionally upset about something linked to your pelvic floor, digestive system, sex, and or reproduction, there will be a physical manifestation. This is why it is vital for you to breathe deeply, to send energy, intention, and love to your pelvic floor. So much happens here. Connecting to, accepting, and owning your body, your experience, your truth is the most important thing you can do to support yourself to heal and to grow. Your body holds so much information that your mind is conditioned to block, ignore, or shame. Opening up the lines of communication in this way is the piece de resistance of the female experience. When you take ownership of your own body, when you reclaim your power and stop handing it over to somebody else, you stand up for all the women who came before you and who will come after. I would be doing us all a disservice if I don't call out and make space for the emotional impact of having pain or questions about your pelvic floor. It is a vulnerable area of your body and topic of conversation that you are taught. I was taught. We are taught to be ashamed of and keep our mouth shut, keep secret. And yet, society defines your worth and value as a woman because of this, because it's where sex and babies happen. And when things aren't working properly, it feels like you as a woman are wrong. Most of us have some level of trauma around our pelvic floor, our root and sacral chakras, and womanhood. Whether it's a painful experience in early adolescence that established a shameful relationship with your body, whether it's sexual trauma, fertility or infertility journeys, or I don't know, maybe I'll say adventures, or if you hate that, pretend I didn't say it, childbirth, relationship instability, hormone therapy, or anything else, your body holds on to the trauma. If you are experiencing pelvic pain and or pelvic floor dysfunction, you are not wrong. You are not broken. You are not a failure. If you aren't sure whether or not there is something wrong, you are still not wrong. You are not broken. You are not a failure. If babies are basically falling out of you and sex is phenomenal, you are not wrong. You are not broken. You are not a failure. Being the owner of a vagina is really complicated. People have a lot of opinions, expectations, and problems with our bodies, and it's none of their business. It is your business. And I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for moving towards creating a safer space for us to have a female experience and talk about it and to no longer suffer in silence. I want to thank you for inviting me to help guide you toward connecting with all of that stuff that is your business, right? Your pelvic floor, your body, and your self. It is an honor and a privilege that I do not take lightly. And I want to celebrate you for taking this time to learn more about yourself and to prioritize your well-being. Because you only get one body, honor her well. This concludes our 4-part pelvic floor series, but this does not conclude our work together. As we continue season 2, we are diving into the taboo topics. We are diving into the taboo topics of our physical body, of our emotional body, of the female experience, of life, of all of the things that we are all thinking about, experiencing to some degree or another that we struggle to talk about, whether it's because of shame or embarrassment or internalized beliefs that we've gotten from media, from our families, from religion, from society, from everything, and creating a space where we can talk about these things and explore them and get the words we need to start these conversations. I cannot wait to share all of this with you. The guests that we have coming up, the solo episodes that are coming are as rich and deep and multifaceted as you are, Rockstar. And if you are looking for more around this, I invite you to check out my Substack. I am publishing posts with deeper dives with how this is showing up in my life as things are exploding and rearranging. And I'm working on saying, instead of falling apart, falling into place, it's both. And I just want to say that you being here and listening, you are creating the change you want to see in the world. And I am so proud of you, and I am so happy you are here, and I cannot wait to see you next week. As always, I've got your back, I've got your front, and I've got your undercarriage.
Thank you so much for sharing your time with me and listening to the end of this episode. Look at you. You're someone who finishes what they start. I love that about you. And if you're picking up what I'm laying down, be sure to visit me over at alissaalter.com for more resources on how you can alter your life, like downloading the 5-minute meditation that I use to start my day with confidence and ease, all before getting out of bed. See you next week.